European SMEs are aware that in order to protect their intellectual property, registering some IP rights such as trademarks, patents, or design rights is only the first step of the process. Once these have been registered, right holders must be ready to take the necessary actions to enforce them. Enforcement takes place in many different ways, but one of the key features is the prevention of the import or export of counterfeits from a specific territory. Under Indian laws, customs agents have the power and responsibility to prohibit the import of goods that violate IP rights. Under the 1962 Customs Act, they have the authority to seize goods or suspend clearance of imported goods if they have reasons to believe these are of an illegal nature. When it comes to IP rights, seizure can happen in one of two ways. Either customs agents act ex officio, of their own accord, or they intervene at the bequest of an IP right holder who has informed them that infringing goods were being imported into India. It is important to know that in addition to registering your IP rights with the Indian IP Office, it is necessary to also have them registered separately with Indian Customs for them to take actions against the import of counterfeiting goods. This can be done online through the Indian Customs IPR recordation portal. Note that unfortunately, registration with Indian Customs is only possible for trademarks, designs and copyright. This does not apply to patents. Here is a list of the documentation which must be brought forward at the time of registration. Within 30 working days from having received the registration documents and provided that there is no error, the IP right will be entered into a database available to all customs agents at all ports of entry into India. Registration with Indian Customs costs 2,000 rupees, or roughly 25 euros, and is valid for 5 years. After 5 years, and provided that the IP right is still valid, it must be registered anew. Note that a bond must be submitted to cover the possible expenses incurred by customs at the time of seizure of goods. Customs may stop suspecting goods at the border even when the IP right holder has not registered their IP rights with customs. However, in this case, the IP owner must comply with the registration requirement, as detailed before, within 5 days after having been notified. It is important to remember that each IP right has to be registered separately. So, if a product is protected both by a trademark and a design right, these two IP rights have to be registered separately. When customs agents have seized the goods, the IP owner is notified. He has 5 days to join the proceedings, activating the bond we mentioned earlier. He will then receive pictures and details of the seized goods, such as the serial number, for inspection by the IP owner or his agent. This inspection must be carried out within 10 days or 3 days in the case of perishable goods, such as food. If following inspection it is confirmed that the goods are indeed infringing upon the IP owner's rights, they are confiscated by customs, with the importer having the right to appeal. Where no appeal has been registered, or if it has been rejected, customs will see to the destruction of the seized goods. However, samples may be requested by the IP owner for reference. It's always recommended to EU SMEs that they should request such samples of counterfeits for reference and to help determine the type of counterfeits which are created and found on the market in India and elsewhere. Now here is a brief recap of what EU SMEs must know about the protection of their IP rights at the Indian border through customs. You should register your IP rights with Indian Customs, as not only is it a prerequisite to bring an action for the seizure of goods at the border, but it also multiplies the probability that customs agents will spot infringing goods being imported into India. Seizure and destruction of counterfeits at the border come at a cost. EU SMEs should budget for it. You should make it easy for customers and officials to identify counterfeits. Simple tools such as product serial numbers are useful in this regard. Thank you for watching this video. We hope this was interesting and useful to you. Do not hesitate to get in touch with us through our helpline service if you wish to have more information on the topic, and do not forget to visit our website for more information on how to protect your IP in India.